So here's the thing, Omar, right? Like you're hitting me with these 7 signs. We're talking about it. Okay. I'm realizing there's some things in my life that I need to change. Some things in my habits, how I lead, how I treat other people. I need to make those changes. So what are some things that I can do today that's going to help me in making those changes?
You are a leader. You have big responsibilities and influence.
Right. Yes.
And the type of leader that you are will eventually, your followers will, or the people you minister, the people you shepherd will eventually see, hey, that's normal. And you'll probably learn the hard way. Will they eventually become like you, or they become worse than you? Practice gratefulness. Say please and thank you, like your mama said. But also gratefulness. I do believe gratefulness has a lot to do with our heart. Be grateful for where God has you. Be grateful for the seasons that you are in. Be grateful for the people that you are involved with. I think lately conversations have always been, if these people are not in your season, like God will take them away from you. And really, but I would like to think the opposite. I think God allowed them for a moment in your life to mold you, to sharpen you, and that you may learn something from them. Practice godly thoughts, practice godly language.
And I think the word practice is key because and these are not things that come natural. It's not natural for us to be positive. Like even positive people are not naturally positive. We tend to be skeptic about, a bunch of about anything really. We look at it and we're like, I don't know if I necessarily believe that, or I think that's true. Or you just look at the negative side of things, especially right now with the news and the media and everything. Like it's easy to be down on yourself, be down on the future. The word practice is super key. It's like you got to practice it. You have to you submit your mouth to say these things, to say these God life things. Celebrate others before you.
Celebrate others before you. Celebrate others after you. Hold the door and close the door after they're out. I think celebration has to be key in the church. Praise God for their life. Celebrate them. Shoot them a text. Hey, I saw you. You sang, bro. USAANG. You sang, bro. You did it. You preached a word. If they're starting a business, celebrate them. Hey, how can I sow into you? If they're starting a new thing, don't criticize. They'll never make it.
Yeah.
If Benny started a new YouTube video, don't criticize him. Encourage him. Celebrate. Hey, you started a YouTube channel. We are not car dealerships, bro. Have you seen car dealerships where for some reason, I don't know who.
Yeah, I used to work at one.
Well, where every car dealership is almost close next to one and the other. Like in one street, there's like 3 other car dealerships right next to each other, and they're like trying to outsell one another. Yeah. Well, that's like churches. I feel like there's one church here, one church here, one church here. Instead of acting like brothers, we act like car dealers, car sellers, and we're just trying to outsell one another, and that's not healthy, man. Even Jesus said it. Just because they're not for you doesn't mean they're against you.
Press into a life-giving community. I know you got some stuff to say about this, Omar.
There are communities that you are put to pour into. They want you to pour. They want you to give. They want you to be there. They want you to be present. Don't be late. Always do that. And that's community, right? But one thing is that community does the very same thing for you, that can reciprocate with you. And sometimes you won't always find yourself with communities that can do that. Yeah. And I don't know if you noticed, but defeat always follows the day after a victory. And you'll know when you just start like climbing down and temptations start pouring in, and you know that you need to seek out for help. That, eventually if you can't sleep and you're using your phone and you have a history of doing such things, man, call a person, have a list of contacts that you can call them anytime, any day. Hey, you know what? I'm being tempted. I saw something on Netflix and something that wasn't healthy. Doesn't matter if they're your age. If they're older, the better. They have so much to give. And if they're younger, pour into yourself as well. But let it be life-giving, man.
And find your tribe. Yeah, I think finding your tribe is kind of a term and idea that has become very well known recently because community is important. Like community is important. Like what, without community, you really lose yourself very easily because you don't know. It's easy to lose your identity. It's easy to lose the things that you believe in. Forget about those things when you're doing it by yourself. But when you're plugged into a life-giving community where you're surrounded with people like Alibaba that will blow up your phone after this live and say, hey, I celebrate you. I just want to see you win. I see you doing your thing. It's awesome. Like, don't give up. Like, you have people like that in your life, man. It is so hard to lose yourself.
Make sure that your community is multi-generational.
Yes.
Because if your community is only your age,
right,
it's limited.
Yes,
I think there's a biblical story. A young king of Israel called Rehoboam, and he was the son of Solomon. Solomon died, and Rehoboam became the youngest king in his time, and he fired all his father's elders, all his father's politicians. He fired all of them and hired all of his friends. Yeah, and when he hired all his friends basically told him, "Do whatever you want. We got your back." And you thought it was sharpening. But it wasn't timely. It wasn't wise. It wasn't in prayer. So make sure that your life community is multi-generational.